How to cook Ma Po Tofu. Get a delicious, spicy Chinese meal without calling for takeout. This dish, which features tofu and pork, takes only a few minutes to prepare. You will need a quarter cup of chicken broth, 2 tablespoons of hot bean paste, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, kosher salt, 1 pound of regular or soft tofu, drained and cut into half-inch cubes, 2 tablespoons of corn, peanut, or canola oil, half a pound of ground pork shoulder, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of finely minced garlic, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of finely minced peeled fresh ginger, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1½ teaspoons of Japanese sesame oil, half a teaspoon of toasted Szechuan peppercorn powder, 3 tablespoons of thinly sliced scallions, and steamed rice. Equipment: a wok or large heavy skillet, and a sieve. Step 1. Combine the chicken broth, bean paste, soy sauce, and a dash of salt to taste in a small mixing bowl to make a sauce. Set aside. Step 2. Heat a medium saucepan filled with water until it reaches a simmer. Reduce heat to low and slide the tofu into the saucepan. Keep the water at a low simmer while continuing to make the rest of the dish. Don't let the water reach a full rolling boil. Boiling the tofu will give it a rubbery feel. Step 3. Heat a wok or large skillet over high heat. Add 1½ tablespoons corn, peanut, or canola oil to the wok and swirl it around to coat the skillet. Step 4. Add the ground pork to the heated wok and cook until no longer pink. Break up clumps of meat as you're cooking. Add the remaining half a tablespoon of oil to the meat if it begins to stick to the wok. Step 5. Add the garlic and ginger to the wok and continue cooking for an additional 2 minutes. Stir in your reserved sauce and return the mixture to a simmer. Sprinkle garlic cloves with a dash of salt while mincing to keep them from sticking to your knife. Step 6. Drain the poached tofu using a sieve and add it to the wok. Stir gently to combine. Step 7. Dissolve the cornstarch in 2 tablespoons of water, add to the wok and bring to a boil. Stir gently. Cook until the mixture has thickened and become glossy, about 15 seconds. Step 8. Remove the wok or skillet from the heat and sprinkle with sesame oil, Szechuan peppercorn powder, and 2 tablespoons of scallions. Stir until the ingredients are combined. Sprinkle with the remaining scallions and serve. Present with a bowl of steamed rice for a tasty Chinese meal that's sure to be a crowd pleaser. Did you know? Soybeans, which are used to make tofu, were first planted in colonial America in 1765 in Savannah, Georgia.
How to cook tofu. Tofu is one of the most versatile ingredients out there. Here are a few easy ways to prepare it that even kids will love. You will need firm tofu, a steamer basket, soup, paper towels, a weight, a deep fryer, and a broiler. Step 1. Steam the tofu. Place raw firm tofu in a steamer basket and steam it over simmering water for 10 to 12 minutes. Step 2. Add small chunks of firm tofu to soup and simmer for about 10 minutes, so the tofu takes on the taste of the soup. Step 3. Press and drain raw firm tofu. Pat it dry with a paper towel and cut it into several pieces. Cover each of the pieces with paper towels and let them sit under a weight, like a skillet or a can of food, for 30 to 60 minutes. This will extract excess moisture. Then, bake the pieces at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. Step 4. Deep fry triangles of pressed and drained firm tofu in sesame oil until the tofu is light brown and crispy. Drain the tofu again before serving. Step 5. Stir fry chunks of pressed and drained firm tofu with vegetables in your favorite marinade. The tofu takes on the flavors of the marinade and serves as a meat substitute. You can use the same type of marinade to prepare tofu for stir fry as you would use on meat. Select your favorite Thai spices or a tasty curry to get the flavor you're craving. Step 6. Broil the pressed and drained tofu in an oven until the tofu is slightly brown on both sides, taking care not to burn it. Did you know? Chinese poet Su Ping wrote an ode to tofu in 1500.
How to fry tofu. Tofu is a great healthy food, and here's a quick, easy, and delicious way to cook it. You will need sesame oil, a frying pan, tofu, a slotted spoon, and paper towels. Step 1. Cut the tofu into small cubes. Use firm tofu. The firmer the tofu is, the better it will hold its shape when handled. Firm and extra firm tofu can be deep fried and added to stir fries, while softer types are blended better or crumble better. Step 2. Pour the sesame oil into a frying pan so there is about 1/4 inch of oil covering the bottom of the pan. Heat the oil on medium heat. Step 3. Place the tofu cubes into the heated oil. Sear the cubes on the top and bottom to a golden brown to ensure even cooking. Make sure your tofu is dry before placing it in the oil. Water from the tofu can cause the oil to splatter. Step 4. Remove the tofu from the oil with a slotted spoon and place the cooked tofu on paper towels. Step 5. Serve the fried tofu on salads, with pasta, or by itself. Did you know 4 ounces of firm tofu contains 13 grams of soy protein?
How to make a tofu stir fry. This stir fry recipe is as delicious as it is easy to make. Go meatless for dinner tonight and have tofu stir fry. You will need 1 pound of firm tofu, 8 ounces of udon, soba, Chinese wheat noodles, or linguine, 1 tablespoon of peanut oil, 2 large broccoli crowns cut into bite-sized pieces, and a 1/2 cup of Thai peanut sauce. Equipment: a stir-fry pan or wok. Optional: 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, a 1/2 cup of chopped green onions, and 6 ounces of baby corn. Step 1. Cut the tofu into 4-inch thick slices and blot it well between the layers of paper towels. Then cut the slices into 1/2-inch cubes. Step 2. Cook the noodles according to the package directions and drain. Step 3. Heat the oil in a stir-fry pan or a wok. Add the tofu and stir-fry it over medium-high heat until it's golden. Transfer it to a plate. Step 4. Add the broccoli with 1/4 cup of water to the pan and cover it to steam until the broccoli is tender, about 5 minutes. You can also use minced garlic, chopped green onions, and baby corn for added flavor. Step 5. Add the noodles and the tofu to the pan along with the peanut sauce and toss carefully. Cook until everything is heated through and serve. Did you know? Tofu has been used in China and Japan since 164 BCE.
How to make tofu taste like meat. If you miss meat, use these simple tips to trick your carnivorous side. You will need spices, marinade, and barbecue sauce. Step 1. Choose tofu marked firm or extra firm. This will give you a more meat-like texture. Freezing tofu will give it a firmer but chewier texture. Step 2. Press the tofu and drain it of excess water by wrapping it in a towel and placing a heavy weight on top of it. This will allow it to crumble more easily. Step 3. Season the tofu with your favorite spice blend, or marinate it in your favorite dressing or barbecue sauce. Tofu is naturally bland and will absorb any added flavoring from seasoning and sauces. Step 4. Replace the meat in spaghetti sauce, stroganoff, tacos, or stews with crumbled tofu. Step 5. Grill or pan fry the tofu for a great charred flavor and crunchy texture. Your family will never know the difference. Did you know? The world consumes about 280 million tons of meat per year.
How to press tofu. Keep the firm texture of your tofu by pressing it with this simple technique. You will need tofu, 2 dinner plates, and a book. Step 1. Put your tofu on a flat dinner plate. Step 2. Place another plate right side up on top of the tofu. Step 3. Place a book that weighs between 2 and 3 pounds on top of the top plate. Make sure the top plate stays flat to prevent breakage or crumbling. Step 4. Remove the book and the top plate after 30 to 40 minutes of pressing. Discard the liquid. Step 5. Start preparing your tofu. Think about all the great soy recipes you'll make right at home. Did you know? Tofu is a good source of protein, B vitamins, iron, and calcium, and contains no cholesterol.
How to roast tofu. Roasting gives the tofu a crispy texture while maintaining the creaminess in the middle. You will need a block of tofu, extra virgin olive oil, sea salt, and pepper. Equipment: a baking sheet and parchment. Step 1. Slice the block of tofu into 12 cubes. Step 2. Season the tofu in a bowl by sprinkling it with a little extra virgin olive oil, pepper, and sea salt. Mix with clean hands to spread the seasoning out evenly. Step 3. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Place the tofu cubes on a parchment-covered baking sheet. Step 4. Place the tofu in the oven and roast for 30 minutes using tongs or a fork to turn the tofu cubes over after 15 minutes. Eat the tofu as is or serve with your preferred dipping sauce. Did you know? Tofu is known to have been commonly produced and consumed in China by the 2nd century BC.